I'm Anna Thompson, 32 years old, and I used to believe family was my cozy hideout until last year's Christmas get-together broke that dream. Think of it, a room full of people, giggles dying down, every stare fixed on me. I got up, my heart thumping hard, and told everyone I'd tied the knot with the guy I really love. Quiet hit like a wall, my folks' faces scrunched up mad. For a long time they'd said he wasn't up to par. Not the type to make a Thompson shine. They kept stacking him against my sister Emily's guy, their top pick, rich, smooth, the ideal dude. No matter how much my hubby hustled, no matter how nice he was, they brushed him off as not our level. And right then that evening, my parents bent close and hurled words that hurt worse than ever. To us, you're as good as gone. Next to them, my sister grinned mean, letting out a nasty snicker, her eyes shining with hate like she'd scored big at last. The words smacked like a hard hit, quick and mean, ripping apart years of me trying to show my worth, of trying to win their care. The place went still. Aunts, uncles, pals, all shocked quiet, but I held strong. I raised my head, stared them right on, and said, "Got it." Then I snatched my jacket, held my hubby's hand, and stepped out into the chilly dark, no glance back. That bit wasn't only about their meanness. It was about escaping their grip, from the matchups, from a whole life of hearing I'd never be enough. And what came after? The world I made, the mess they hit, showed it all. Weeks on, when they showed up needy and wrecked, I had words they'd always remember. Ever had someone say the one you love ain't good enough? Drop your tale in the comments. I want to know how you held firm. Growing up in suburban Madison, our home seemed perfect outside, but inside my mom, Linda, bossed every bit of my life. From when I could pick, she chose for me, schools, buddies, even what after-school stuff I did. At 7, I wanted soccer tryouts, but Mom pushed piano classes because they were fancier. I played for hours, my fingers sore, just to hear her pick apart every wrong key. "You gotta do better, Anna," she'd snap, her tone sharp, no space for backtalk. "My dad," Robert hardly piped up. He'd agree with a nod, his quiet louder than talk, supporting Mom's every call. If I fought it, he'd grumble, "Hear your mom out," and hide in his paper. Their bossing felt like a big load. I couldn't ditch it, a nonstop nudge I wasn't good enough. My sister Emily was the bar I could never hit. She rocked school, her grades all top marks, and Mom cheered her on forever. Emily's headed for big things, Mom would say at supper, her eyes glued on my sister. I'd sit poking my food, feeling like a ghost. Emily didn't help. She'd grin when I messed up math work, flipping her hair and saying, "It's easy, Anna." Her poke hurt, but I stayed mum, dodging another scold from Mom. Once I got a B in English, proud of my try. Mom looked over the card, frowned, and said, "Why can't you copy Emily?" I was 12, and those words stuck like fire. School was Mom's fight zone. She selected my classes, nixed fun ones like art, because they wasted time, and made me do debate to toughen up. I hated debate, tripping on words in front of picky watchers. But Mom sat watching, her look shoving me to shine. When I lost a round, she'd nag the whole ride home on trying harder and rules. "You're shaming us," she'd bark. I'd nod, gulping my mad, knowing fighting was no use. My pals weren't really mine. Mom hated kids she called bad vibes, like my top buddy from 5th grade who dug comics. She banned me from hanging, saying she'd pull me from studies. I learned to sneak my friendship, making secret calls when Mom was out. Emily bloomed in this setup. She got into honor groups, nabbed prizes, and soaked Mom's thumbs up. At family meets, relatives gushed over her, asking on her college dreams while I hung in the corner, overlooked. Emily ate up the spotlight. She'd cut into my tales to brag on her newest win, her voice big and bold. "Anna's just quiet," she'd chuckle, knowing it hurt more than that. I tried to match, staying up late cramming, but my tries never stacked up. Once I won a writing thing at school, a tiny win I hoped would wow Mom. I showed her the paper, my hands shaky with wish. She peeked, shrugged, and said, "Emily's story got printed last month." My heart dropped, and I hid the paper, never bringing it up. The push didn't end at home. Mom helped at school, checking teachers, making sure I stuck to her road. She'd ring them each week, asking on my scores, my acts, even how I sat in class. I felt her watch everywhere, like I could never slip away. Robert's part was softer, but just as heavy. He'd drive me toss stuff Mom picked, never asking my wants. If I griped, he'd sigh and say, "Your mom knows what's right." I quit sharing with him after. By high school, I was wiped, handling Mom's orders and Emily's jabs while trying to find some me. I'd lay up at night, dreaming of a life where I picked for me, where my say counted. That dream seemed so distant, but it was the fire that pushed me on. When I kicked off at the University of Wisconsin, I got my first taste of being free. For years, I'd been under Mom's rules, every pick shaped by what she wanted. Now in Madison's busy school grounds, I could finally take a deep breath. I picked marketing as my main study, pulled to its mix of fun ideas and plans. My first class, a session on branding, felt like a big wake-up. I spent hours making fake ads, drawing signs, and sharing thoughts with classmates. For once, I wasn't hunting someone else's okay. My teacher, a smart lady good at spotting skills, pulled me over after a talk. "You've got a fire, Anna," she said. "Don't let folks put it out." Her words sparked something in me, a push to make something mine. Outside class, I checked out who I could be. I joined a student ad group where I led a thing for a nearby coffee place. We stayed up late thinking up sayings over pizza, giggling at our bad first tries. I loved the mess of it, the shot to make without Mom lurking. But being free had a cost. Mom rang each week, doubting my study. "Marketing ain't a true job," she'd bark on the call. "Switch to something safe like Emily did." I'd hold the phone tight, forcing a chill answer, but her words bugged me. Dad kept out as usual, leaving me to deal alone. Emily, now in law classes, would jump in on family talks, bragging on her work spots. "You're still messing with signs," she'd say, her tone full of better than you. I shook it off, set to show them wrong. One spring day, my car quit on a calm Madison road. I rolled into a close garage, mad and late for a team thing. That's when I met my guy, Mike Harris. He was bent over a motor, tools all over, his hands dirty with oil. "Let's check it out," he said, his voice easy and sure. I watched him fix, step by step and focused, telling the problem without acting big. Most dudes would ignore me, but Mike heard, answering my asks with no rush. We chatted an hour while he mended the car, sharing bits on tunes and night rides. His chuckle was nice, and his sureness wasn't showy or pushed. It was true. I left the garage with a fixed car and his digits, my heart feeling easy like never. Mike and I started hanging first as pals, then more. He'd grab me after class, and we'd snag burgers at a spot near school. Heshered on his gig as a car fixer, how he loved solving stuff with his hands. I liked his pride in his job, so unlike the fancy drive Mom and Emily liked. With Mike, I didn't have to act. He'd listen when I vented on a hard task or Mom's new nag. Never judging, always solid. "You're plenty, Anna," he'd say, holding my hand. Those words got me through tough nights of cramming and doubt. We'd do weekends checking Madison, driving to peaceful spots, or seeing bands in town. For the first time, I felt noticed, not as a fix-up, but as me. Juggling school, and Mike wasn't always smooth. I was handling due dates, group meets, and side jobs at a book place to pay stuff. Mom's calls got meaner, her asks more pointy. "Who you hanging with?" She'd push. I'd dodge, saying school kept me busy. But she'd keep on, hinting I was throwing away my shot. Emily would message asking why I skipped family meals, her notes full of judge. "Too tied up with your fun stuff," she'd type. I skipped her, eyeing my aims. I got a summer spot at a local ad place, making online ads for small shops. The work was exciting, but every move ahead had a pullback. Mom wanted more visits to watch me. Dad, when he called, repeated her, saying, "Don't go too far, Anna." Their voices stuck, a steady tug against the life I was making. Mike became my rock. When I doubted, he'd remind why I picked marketing, why I kept at it. One night, after a draining call with Mom, Mike took me for a ride. We stopped by a lake, the town lights twinkling far. "You don't owe them your wishes," he said. I nodded, feeling the realness sink in. With Mike, I was learning to believe in me, to grip the fire I'd found. But inside, I knew letting him into my family's spot would test it all. Last fall, I took Mike home to meet my folks. I'd been with him over a year, and I was set to share the one who made me feel truly okay. We drove to my parents' place in Madison, my tummy twisted. I'd told Mike on Mom's tough rules and Emily's mean words, but he just held my hand and said, "We'll face it as a team." His ease helped, but I couldn't shake that this meal would be a check I wasn't ready for. We sat for a stiff dinner, the table loaded with Mom's usual roast and hidden wants. Mom kicked off with chit-chat, her eyes scanning Mike like a riddle. "So Mike, what you do?" she asked, her tone nice but with a judge edge. He answered sure, telling on his gig as a car fixer, how he loved mending what others couldn't. I grinned, proud of his fire. But Mom's face got tight. "A fixer," she said, her voice full of doubt. "That's dirty work." "Dad." Across from her, nodded a bit, his look blank. I held my fork tight, feeling the trouble coming. Emily, always ready to mix trouble, leaned in, you know. "My guy Jason Reed owns his own money firm," she said, her eyes jumping to Mike. "He's sealing deals for tons." Her grin was clear, a poke to make Mike small. I gave her a glare, but she just lifted a brow, daring me back. Mike stayed chill, brushing her comment with a nice nod. "Sounds cool," he said, keeping his words even. But I could feel the vibe getting heavy, the load of their judge pushing down. Linda didn't drop it. "Anna, you're in marketing," she said, slicing her food. "You need someone with drive, someone at your spot. A fixer doesn't really fit that." Her words cut me deep, tossing Mike aside like he was below. I started to argue, but Dad jumped in for once. "She's spot on, Anna. You got a bright road. Don't pick less." His voice was quiet but strong, matching Linda's call. I felt my cheeks get hot, mad rising. Mike reached for my hand under the table, his touch steadying me. But I wasn't going to stay quiet. "His work doesn't make him," I said, my voice firm despite the fire inside. "Mike's true, works hard, and he backs me in ways you never did." The table got silent, forks stopping halfway. Linda's eyes squinted. "Don't speak to us that way," she snapped. "We gave you all. You owe us smarter picks." Emily laughed, a quick mean noise. "Come on, Anna, you're with a oil guy. Jason's got a fancy top floor. What's Mike got, a tool set?" Her words were poison, and I saw Mike stiffen, though he held cool. I pushed back. "Emily, you don't get to rate him. You don't know him." My voice got louder, shaking with years of built-up mad. Emily rolled her eyes. "I know plenty. You're making a fool of yourself." That did it. I stood, my chair scraping loud. "Mike's more family to me than you all ever were," I said, looking from Emily to Linda to Robert. "He respects me. You just want to boss me." Linda hit Thedible hard. "Enough. You're tossing your future for him. Pick, Anna. Us or him?" Her big demand hung there, heavy and done. I looked at Mike, his eyes steady, trusting my choice. I thought of all the years I'd tried to please them, making myself small to fit their shape. "I pick Mike," I said, my voice clear. Linda gasped. Robert shook his head and Emily huffed, muttering, "You're nuts." I took Mike's hand and we left, their voices getting faint behind. That night, I got that their okay wasn't worth losing me, but I had no clue how bad it'd get. A few months after that wild dinner, the Christmas get-together at my folks' place was packed with kin, and the mood was thick with stress. I'd been scared of it for weeks, knowing Linda, Robert, and Emily would watch me close. Mike and I had made a brave move just days before. A quiet wedding at a little court spot in Madison. Just us two and a watcher. We kept it secret, not wanting their judge to spoil our time. But tonight I chose to spill the truth. My heart thumped as we walked in, Mike's hand solid in mine. I had on a plain dress, my new ring tucked under a scarf, but I felt like entering a fight zone. Supper started soft with aunts and uncles yakking over turkey and pie plates. Linda kept peeking at me, her grin tight, while Robert drank his wine, dodging my look. Emily sat opposite us, her eyes bouncing between me and Mike, a grin on her lips. I could feel the load of their wants, the same I'd battled forever. Midway through eating, I stood, my hands shaky, but my mind set. "I got something to tell," I said, my voice breaking the talk. "All eyes on me. Mike and I wed last week." I pulled my scarf, showing the ring, and looked at Mike, who nodded with quiet pride. The room stopped. Then Linda's face went red, her fork dropping loud. "Wed?" she whispered mean, her voice low but full of bite. To him, Robert's jaw got tight, his knuckles white on his glass. Before I could answer, they both got up, their voices getting loud together. "To us, you're as good as gone," Linda spat, her words cutting the crowd. Robert matched her, his voice icy. "You've tossed your life, Anna." The kin gasped, some whispering, others staring shocked. I felt my breath go. Their words, a stab sharper than any before. Emily broke the quiet with a quick laugh, her eyes shining with bad. "A secret wedding with Mike," she said, her voice full of mock. "Was it a fast one at some beat-up court? You couldn't pay for a real one." Her words teased our pick, brushing off the love we'd made. Mike's hand squeezed mine, but he stayed chill, his quiet stronger than her pokes. I looked at her, then at Linda and Robert, their faces stiff with yuck. Years of their bossing, their nags flashed in my head. Every time I'd tried to please, every push aside for Emily. This was the last bit. I stood taller, my voice firm despite the hurt. "Got it," I said, eyes locked with Linda, then Robert, then Emily. The words stayed there, simple but end. I turned to Mike, his look steady, and we headed to the door. Emily yelled after, her tone teasing. "Running off already, Anna, so you." I didn't turn. Kin mumbled, some begging me to stay, but their voices faded as we went out. The cold December breeze hit my face, but I felt easier, like a chain broke. In the car, Mike held me close. "You good?" he asked. I nodded, tears pricking my eyes but my heart firm. "We're through with them," I said. That night I chose. I blocked Linda's number, Robert's and Emily's. I wiped their messages, their texts, their grip on me. For years I'd lugged their wants, their judge, hoping for okay that never showed. Now, with Mike next to me, I was free to pick my own kin. Stepping away wasn't just leaving a party. It was taking back my life. I didn't know what was next, but I knew I'd never let them shape me again. After the Christmas get-together, I wiped my family's numbers from my phone. Leaving Linda, Robert, and Emily felt like dropping a thick jacket I'd worn forever. Mike and I didn't hang back. We got a snug spot in downtown Madison, a tiny but sunny place with wide windows and a view of the busy roads below. Moving in was our first move to make something fresh. Something us. We did weekends unpacking stuff, chuckling over odd plates and dreaming our future. For the first time, I wasn't peeking back, waiting for Judge. My job soared in ways I hadn't thought. I'd been at a marketing spot for a year, but now I got a top spot on a big ad push for a local tech start. The work was bold, a full makeover with big signs, online ads, and a start event. I jumped in, drawing ideas late, sharing wild thoughts with my crew. My boss, a straight-talk lady with a keen eye for bits, cheered my stuff. "You're acing it, Anna," she said after Ish out a new saying. The words felt warm, so unlike Linda's endless picks. I threw myself into the push, teaming with makers and hitting close dates. When the client okayed our share, my team whooped, and I felt a rush of pride I hadn't in years. One cool afternoon, I bumped into my mom's pal, Susan Parker, at a coffee spot near work. She saw me in line and waved over, her smile nice but careful. "Anna, long time," she said, her voice soft. We sat with our drinks, and she asked how I was doing. I paused, not sure if she'd tell Linda, but her eyes were kind, not nosy. I shared on cutting ties after the party, on picking Mike. Susan heard, nodding deep. "You did what's best for you," she said. "Don't let anyone doubt it." Her words struck hard, a nudge I wasn't solo in my pick. She told a tale on her own family fights, pushing me to stay tough. "You're making something true," she said, holding my hand. I left the cafe feeling light, her backup a quiet hold. Mike and I dove into our life. He was doing great at the garage, handling bigger fixes, and building a name for his know-how. We'd get home after long days, make easy suppers, and chat on all, our wishes, our scares, the small bits that made us giggle. One night, he shocked me with a list of tunes from our first hangs, pulling me into a silly dance in our front room. "This is us," he said, twirling me. I laughed till it hurt, feeling a happy I'd never with my folks. We planned trips, talked on kids someday, and saved for a home. Every step felt like a vow to us, a stick to the life we picked. Work kept me solid. The push started with a full event at a town spot, our ads on a huge screen. Clients shook my hand, cheering the strong looks and fun lines. I stood watching the group, getting I'd made something big without Linda's rules or Emily's pokes. Mike was there, cheering loudest, his pride clear. "You're unbeatable," he whispered, arm around me. For once I bought it. The win wasn't just job stuff. It was proof I could shine my way. Susan's words stuck, a nudge to hold tight. I didn't miss the load of my family's wants, but sometimes wondered if they'd see me new. Mike and I didn't linger on it. We packed our days with work, love, and tiny joys. Coffee grabs, late films, walks in Madison's snowy paths. Our spot became a safe place, where I could be me, no sorry. I was no more the girl who shrank to fit their shape. With Mike by me, I was making a life that felt right, one where I set my own value. 3 months after the party, Susan rang with wild news. I was in my work spot checking ad sketches when her name popped on my phone. Her voice was heavy, not the nice tone from our coffee chat. "Anna, it's on your family," she said. I got ready, not sure what. She told Emily had been tricked by Jason, the guy she'd bragged on forever. He'd talked her into putting all her savings, over $60,000, into a sure-win money plan. It was a trick. The thing didn't reel and Jason split, leaving Emily with empty cash and junk papers. Susan's words smacked me hard. Emily, always so sure, always Linda's top, had crashed big. She'd trusted Jason's nice, his fast rich vows, only to find he'd fooled others too. The buzz spread. Through Madison's close groups, whispers of Emily's bad call following like dark. She'd been so fast to tease Mike's job, his true, but her hotshot guy had played her dumb. I felt a bit of sorry, but it went quick. Emily spokes. Her grins at my pics still hurt. I thanked Susan and hung, my thoughts spinning with it all. The mess didn't end with Emily. Susan said Linda and Robert jumped in to help her. Emily's O's were huge. Law costs, unpaid borrows, and a way she couldn't keep. To pay, they sold their home, the one they'd put years in, the one Linda always showed off at town meets. They moved to a tight rent on town's edge, away from their neat suburb spot. Their savings shrunk, and Robert's advice gig got hit as clients backed off, scared of the family's bad name. Madison's chat scene where Linda once ruled went cold. Pals stopped asking them to meals, and their names meant flop. I sat on my couch that night, taking it in. Mike listened as I told Susan's call, his hand on mine. "They picked their way," he said, his voice sure. I nodded, but part of me wondered how it got here. Linda and Robert had always set Emily high, funding her dreams while ignoring mine. Now their blind back had cost all. I didn't cheer. No fun in their fall, but I felt a quiet clear. Their judge, their push to boss my life had been on shaky ground. Susan called again a week on, her tone softer but pushy. "Your folks want to chat, Anna," she said. "They're hurting and miss you." She stopped, picking words careful. "They're not the same you left." I stared at my phone, the screen fuzzy as her words hit. Linda and Robert reaching after all. I thought of their mad at the party, their mean words, the years of wants I couldn't hit. Part of me wanted to reply, to listen, but a bigger part held strong. I'd spent too long chasing their okay, only to be tossed. "I'm not set, Susan," I said, my voice chill but strong. "Maybe never." She didn't shove. "I get it," she said. "You've made something good, guard it." Her words matched the power I'd found with Mike, the life we were shaping. I thanked her and cut the call, my pick clear. I didn't unblock their numbers or answer the notes Susan said they'd sent. Their fights were true, but not mine to mend. I'd carried their wants years, bending to their ways. Now I was done. Mike and I talked late, thinking on what we'd got. Their fall wasn't my due, but a result of their picks, favoring Emily, brushing me, holding to looks. Madison's chat didn't hit our spot where we were busy making our world. I eyed my work, getting new clients for the spot while Mike got a bump at the garage. We were going ahead together, free from their judge load. I didn't need their okay now. I had mine. 5 months after the Christmas get-together, my bell rang hard. I was in our spot checking push notes when the noise shook me. Mike looked at me, his brow wrinkled. I opened to see Linda, Robert, and Emily there, their faces tired and needy. "Anna, we gotta talk," Linda said, her voice shaky. Robert nodded, his eyes dodging mine, while Emily fidgeted, her usual sure gone. They begged sorry, their words tripping. Sorry for the party, for Judge, for shoving me off. I heard, my heart racing, but my mind steady. I breathed, looking at each. "The gone can't return," I said, my voice chill but firm. Their faces dropped, Linda's eyes tearing, Robert's jaw tight, Emily's mouth opening to fight. "Didn't wait." I shut the door, the snap loud and quiet. Mike hugged me, and I felt the load of their bags lift. I'd chased their okay years, but that girl was out. This was my line, my last stand. Life with Mike was my hold. We'd got comfy in our Madison spot, our days full with care and aim. I'd got a bump at the marketing spot now, watching over lots of pushes. My newest work, a town ad for a help group, won a prize. My name cheered in work spots. Mike's garage was booming too, his name growing with folks who liked his skill. We marked small wins, meals we made together, weekend walks, plans for a future we shaped. Our happy wasn't big but true. built on shared respect and trust. For Linda, Robert, and Emily, the hits stuck. Susan told me they were still fighting, renting a small spot on Madison's Edge. Their savings gone from Emily's bad money move. Their friend group shrunk. Old pals dodging after the mess with Jason. Emily, once the star, was now alone, her nice no match for the buzz that trailed. I didn't wish bad, but their picks led here. Their sorries couldn't wipe the years of boss, the brush of my value. I learned a tough fact. Setting lines is the way to guard your calm. Family ain't a must when it brings no respect. Cutting ties wasn't easy, but it let me live real, to pick who I let close. Mike showed what family could be. Backing, not choking. I'm tougher now. Not 'cause I said no to them, but 'cause I picked me. To all hearing, thanks for sticking with my tale. It's not just mine. It's a nudge to stand for your value. Faced hard family stuff? How you set lines? Drop your thoughts below, and let's chat on making better ties. Your say counts, and I'm thankful for yours.